Beautiful souls. Hello and welcome to the Unstoppable You podcast. How are you? Welcome back, my loves. It is so good to be here with you all. I'm Evie. I am your host, life and confidence coach and business mentor. And we're in for a treat today. We've got a really great podcast episode, so I'm really exciting to share as well. Some beautiful cards that I've pulled for us and an exceptional quote that has really inspired, I guess, this whole conversation today. So I'm really excited to dive in. Thanks for being here. Hello, wherever you are tuning in from. If you're out on your dog walk, if you're pushing the pram, if you're out on your commute, driving to work, on public transport, cooking dinner, cleaning the house, whatever it is that you do when you listen to your podcast. Hi, it's so good to be here with you, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to this particular episode, and for you, those of you who are long-time listeners, I love you, I see you, and it's so good to be here on the journey with you all. This podcast episode is one to save. It is one to send to your girlfriends, and it's one to come back to when you need this reminder. And this is a reminder, and you know this, but all of the podcast episodes, all of this content are reminders for you. You know this, your soul knows this. It's just reminding yourself when we get caught up in the humanness of life and being a human here on earth, right? So it's a reminder for you. And I just wanted to share with you that as you've probably heard, and if you've listened to recent podcast episodes in this year, but in particular, the last few months, I've really brought back my soul sparkle. I've really tuned into my soul more than ever before. I always have, I think, and for a long time, I certainly have lived and created from that place and led my business from that place. But this has taken it to a whole deeper level. And the whole concept is really about letting your soul lead your life and letting your soul lead your business. It's less about like what I should do and more about like, what do I feel aligned to do? What do I feel called to do? What's pulling me? How does my creativity want to be expressed right now? What is the message that I think needs to be heard or shared right now? And this is one of those conversations that landed, and I was like, more so than ever before, especially with the podcast, I think this is just a really great example of how it's playing out in my business, is that I don't plan ahead many weeks ahead of topics and conversations that I want. There's a whole list of ideas. We've got guest speakers that I want to bring on the show as well. However, one of the big ones is, and the big way that this is manifesting for me, is not planning ahead all the conversations too much and actually tuning into what I think my soul's voice wants to share, like what needs to be shared and expressed from me first and foremost, but also coupled up with what I think people need to hear right now, what's going to be most supportive for my community, what of the themes, the topics, the conversations that are happening in my personal world and my clients' worlds, with clients, and also in my wider community as well. And this is the topic that came up for me. It's really about the process of becoming. There's manifestation in there too. There's things about the nervous system and the body and neuroscience. And I think this is really helpful. And like I said, this is an episode to save and come back to, because we are all on the journey of becoming. We are all on this journey together. We're just on our own unique journeys, and we might be at different stages along our journeys. They might look slightly different, but essentially these conversations, these concepts and ideas are going to be relevant for all of us at some point in time. So let this be your reminder. Save it, send it to your friends, and come back to this one when you need that boost, when you need that reminder for these things. Okay, before I share my quote, one of my favorite quotes actually at the moment, before I share my quote and my oracle cards that I pulled us today for the conversation, I wanted to share with you that at the time of recording this, wild to even be saying this, but at the time of recording this, there are just 2 spaces left to work with me this year in my one-to-one private coaching. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. So at the time of recording this, early August 2025, there are just 2 final spots to work with me one-to-one in life coaching and or business coaching this year in 2025 before I go on maternity leave. Wild. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is true. It is true. I've had some really beautiful, beautiful conversations with women recently. And yeah, 2 of those 4 spaces have been taken in the last week or so. And so if you're interested, if you've been feeling the call for doing some more personal development work, maybe working with a coach for the first time ever, perhaps it's deepening into this. It's really about investing in yourself, investing in your personal growth, investing in how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Perhaps it's also investing in your soul work and your creativity and how you serve the world through your business, perhaps. So it could be life coaching, could be business coaching, or a blend of the two. I'm your gal. And if this conversation today is really sparking something for you, then I'd really invite you to reach out. Send me a DM on Instagram. We can chat about it, or flick me an email. All of the links, all of the details are linked in the show notes or the description of this video. So go check that out. But I would love to work with you and I would love to support you. And I think that now is the time. Like if you're feeling the call and the nudge, like really tuning into your soul and tuning into your intuition. And if you know that there's more, if you know that there's time to evolve, to grow, to expand, to elevate, then 100% come on in. I'm so excited. And I shared with this, actually one of the women that's just recently signed up to work with me this year shared with me that she's so excited to see herself in 3 months' time once we finish the coaching series. And I was just like, yes, that's exactly it. I'm so excited for that too. About like, hey, here I am now. And it's not that life isn't great. Like there's so many wonderful things happening in her lives and so many clients' lives and your lives, I'm sure. Maybe some not so great things as well. And that's absolutely okay and normal. And that's all a part of the journey and the process. And it's about, well, I want more for myself and I want to explore that, or I know that there's something more for me. I know that I've got untapped potential there. And it's really about expressing and being that and bringing that to life. And I think there's such a beautiful gift that you can give yourself here to live with soul, to connect in with your soul sparkle, to activate that again, to listen to your soul's voice, to share that through your creativity, through your business, whatever it might be, and really tap into your soul's gifts and live from that place. And that's when life just opens up. You become magnetic and it feels freaking amazing along the way. So that's a little bit about one-to-one coaching, of course, completely personalized to you. And can't wait to chat about it. All right, let's dive in. The quote for today, one of my favorite quotes. I've really loved this for a while now. I saw it on Instagram. I don't know who actually said it first or, who this belongs to, but I think it's such a great one. And it's this: enjoy being in the process of becoming. Enjoy being in the process of becoming. And that really inspired the conversation today, the podcast episode today, because I believe there's so much truth in that. And I really wanted to talk through some of the science that happens in it and through our nervous systems behind what actually goes on here and how we actually block ourselves when we don't enjoy the being in the process of becoming. When we're so fixated on a goal, an outcome, a desire, a vision that we want to create for ourselves, that we want to manifest, it can, there's so much more to that, which I'm going to dive into in a moment, but there's so much more, there's so much in that we can get so fixated on it that we miss the now. We miss enjoying the moment. We miss what's already is. We miss the gifts of the present moment and the joy and fulfillment that there is in that. So I'm going to dive into that conversation, into that quote a little bit more, but that's the quote today. And the quote is this: remember, enjoy being in the process of becoming. Enjoy being in the process of becoming. Okay, now I also pulled 2 oracle cards. So that conversation, that topic landed last night, and I wrote myself a note to talk about it today on the podcast. But the cards that I pulled this morning were so beautiful and so timely. Okay, the first one is this. Again, these are from the Rebecca Campbell's deck, the Starseed Oracle. And this is the card. I laugh, I smile at this because it's so fitting, it's so timely. The card is this: trust the timing, trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. That's our beautiful card for today. And I'm going to read a little bit of this one from the little booklet because I actually really love this passage. And I think that there's someone who's listening to the conversation today, maybe many of you, that really need to hear this message. So this is it. Okay, so this is the passage that I wanted to read from the beautiful booklet here. These are Rebecca Campbell's words, obviously. So trust the timing, trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. I'm not going to read all of it, but there's this one beautiful piece that I wanted to share here. Right now, you're being reminded to take a breath and trust the wave you came in on. To trust the season you're in, trust that time isn't running out. There's plenty of time and there's no rush, and it's never too late. Everything is a season, and you're being called to trust the one that you're in. Don't let impatience, comparison, competition, or paranoia disturb the seeds. Isn't that beautiful? So trust the timing, trust the wave you came in on, trust that time isn't running out. And then the other card I pulled for us today is this beautiful one here. Star family, you're part of a team of souls. Call in support. Another beautiful card. I think, from my interpretation of this, it's like trusting the process of becoming, trusting your season, trusting your timing, etc. And I talked about that a bit more on last week's podcast episode, actually. So I think that that's really relevant. But also I think it's about like calling in your support system. So essentially your star family, those people that you meet and you're like, I feel like I've known you for so long. I feel like we were meant to be aligned and to have this connection in our lifetime. So, those people, they're your star family. They're the people that they're meant to be here with you on this purpose, on this journey. And to call in those people, to like lean on those people, to seek out those people, but also to call in your support system, the people that you know that you need to support you along the way in this journey. And especially if you're struggling with that process of becoming and enjoying the being in the becoming, right? So let's talk a bit more about this. Now, I wanted to talk about this idea that whenever we want something for ourselves, a goal, a dream, a vision, we have a desire for ourselves, we want to be coming at it from a place of wholeness, of worthiness, of enoughness, and of gratitude for what already is and who you already are. And that is, I think, the key to this, right? And so what is the flip is that is if we're so desperately wanting something, so there's a goal, a dream, a desire, and we're desperately wanting it to happen now or in a certain time frame or to happen in a certain way, whatever it might be, then what happens is that we're essentially coming from a place of lack, of like, I desperately want this thing. I so badly want this thing. And we're coming from that place of, well, because I desperately want it, we're signaling to our bodies, to our brain, that what we already are and what we already have isn't enough. So we're signaling to our body that we're coming from a place of lack. And what happens there is, of course, that triggers our nervous system, because we're all these beautiful emotional human beings and our nervous system is so important. It drives us, right? And so it influences how we feel and how we show up. And so if we're coming from a place of lack, of not enoughness, of I really need this thing to make me feel a certain way, to complete me, to make me feel whole, to make me feel worthy, to achieve XYZ, whatever it might be. And this is often subconsciously, right? We're not always conscious of these things. But what happens is that then we go into the sympathetic nervous system. And the sympathetic nervous system is all about the fight and flight nervous system, where we've got adrenaline, cortisol, all of those stress hormones essentially rushing around our body. And it's telling us that we're not safe, that we're in a state of lack. And so that's no way of living, right? It's not a fun place to be. But what happens in that manifestation process is that we block ourselves from being open to the possibilities, or for it happening in the way that it's meant to happen, or different creative solutions becoming available and aware to ourselves. When we hold on to a certain outcome having to be a certain way for it to happen in a certain way in a certain time frame, etc., to be exactly this, then again, we're blocking ourselves from being open to those creative solutions and possibilities. And that's when like true manifestation can really happen, when we're open to, this or something better. We're open to it happening in different ways, when we let go and we surrender to what's meant to be for us. So remember that, yeah, when we're coming from a place of lack or not enoughness, unworthiness, then ultimately we're going to feel pretty crappy and pretty shitty in the process, but it's also not supporting us from creating the things and having the things that we want. And so, yeah, I think the biggest thing here is when we're so fixated or obsessed or desperate for it to happen in a certain way for this thing, we block ourselves and we're closed off to the possibilities and the other creative solutions. Versus coming at it from a place of, I am enjoying being in the process of becoming, right? That's where that quote really links in here, where we're like, I know that I'm already worthy. I know that I'm already whole. I don't need that other thing, that other relationship, the business success, the milestone, the money, the baby, whatever it is to complete me. Yes, I really want those things. Yes, I'm declaring them and talking about them and visualizing them. Absolutely. But I'm also coming at it from a really loving, grounded energy. And that energy of wholeness, of worthiness, though, like when you come from that place, you're in your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest one. That's all the signals going up to your brain of like, I'm safe, I'm open to endless possibilities, of infinite possibilities, of creative solutions becoming available to me. And it's this or something better. I'm surrendering to the outcome. Yes, I really want that goal. Yes, I want that amount of clients, that money, that dream relationship, that job, the family, whatever. And I'm so grateful for all that I am and all that I have right now. It's work. This is the work, is to recognize when we're coming at it from a place of lack, when we're so tightly held on to a certain outcome or a certain timeline that we're not open to receiving, and we're sending our body and our nervous system into the sympathetic nervous system, where we're in stress, fight or flight mode, where we're not open to fully receiving. And it's when we're in the other system, when we're in the parasympathetic nervous system, where we're fully open to love, to receivership, where creative solutions become available to ourselves, where we enjoy the moment, where we're in the present moment of being. And that's there's so much gold and wisdom and love in that place. And it's going to feel amazing coming from that place of living, right? But also it just helps that whole process of becoming and manifesting our goals and our desires in the best way possible. Now, don't get me wrong here. It is important to be really clear on your vision. It is really important to be clear on your specific goal. It is really important to visualize that, to think about that, to keep that front of mind, to be reminded of the things that we really want, to not lose sight of those goals and dreams and desires for ourselves. Don't get me wrong, it is so important to do that. I talk about that all the time in coaching. We do that all the time in coaching. This is why vision boards are wonderful. This is why affirmations are wonderful. This is why having reminders, having post-it notes. This is why talking about your goals and your dreams and your desires, your big creative vision for yourself, the more for you. This is why that's so important. We need to do that stuff. And so don't get me wrong, I don't want you to stop doing that stuff. Please keep doing that stuff. However, your job is to check in with your nervous system, to be really honest with yourself here. Am I wanting this? Am I coming at it from a loving, open, trusting energy where I'm calm and relaxed, when I'm open to receiving and I'm fluid with that, where it doesn't have to be an exact, the exact image that you put on your vision board, for example. It could happen in different ways. And when we're not fixated on it happening in a certain timeline or a certain order or like the certain way that it's meant to happen, if we're open to receiving that in different ways, then that's magnetic. That's really beautiful. And that's what we ideally want to be coming at it from. So checking in, am I in that energy? Or am I coming at it from a place of scarcity, of lack, of not enoughness, I was like, I just really bloody want that thing at all costs, and I'm going to do anything to make it happen. If we're coming at it from that energy, just check in with your body. Like, how does it feel when you think about the vision and the goal and the dream? How are you responding? Like, how does your body feel when you're showing up and taking action from that place? Is it tight, contracted, restricted in some way? Does it feel icky? Does it feel off? Really checking in with your body, because your body won't lie. That'll tell you. Your energy doesn't lie. Your body will be able to tell you that feedbacks, but your job is to obviously be really still, to listen, to check in with yourself so you can feel that, so you can hear that. So if you're coming from that place, then remember that's where it's like, I'm so fixated on one outcome in a certain way, in a certain time frame, etc. And I'm desperately wanting and needing that thing to make me feel a certain way, to fill a void, for whatever reasons. And again, some of this can be really unconscious. Some of this can be below the surface. And it's really our job to check in and be honest with ourselves about, what energy we're coming at it with, and making sure that we're also really enjoying the being in the process of becoming. As that quote so beautifully says, really enjoying what already is, having gratitude, practicing gratitude every single day, writing down and feeling. Remember, the key with gratitude practice is to feel the gratitude for the things that already are. So it's not just saying, hey, I was really grateful for that person who opened the door for me today, or that, I was really grateful for the sun shining on my face. Is to like go back to those moments and feel the feelings of gratitude, of appreciation, of love, of warmth that those things made you feel, that gave to you. And you're reliving that experience. You're also priming your mind to look for the good, to appreciate the now, to appreciate the present moment so much more. And this is why I'm a huge fan of it. It does so many things for us. Wonderful things. It's a neuroscience concept, psychology principle that I think is so important to, it's easy to say and easy to do in some ways, but really doing it on a deeper level can be, it's a game changer. It can be an absolute game changer for many people. So at the end of your day, or whenever you want to do it, but a nice way to do it is like reflecting on your day and reliving those moments of gratitude and appreciation, because that's going to really help you. Like, that's a real practical way that you can start to really enjoy the being in that process of becoming. While that goal and that vision and that dream is still something that you really want, and I love that for you, and go after it, and it's happening. And also, to really enjoy the now, to see all that you are and all that you have currently. Now, this is where sometimes some unworthiness feelings can pop up for some people. So if this is for you, sing out to me. Would love to have a chat with you about it. Yeah, this can be something that we can work on in one-to-one coaching around fully claiming your worth and fully untangling yourself from any unworthiness stories, from that lack mentality, and really resetting your nervous system, coming from what we call a regulated nervous system, where you're calm and relaxed and aligned to those things that you're wanting. So when you detach from that outcome, when you detach from that certain goal, when you detach from that certain timeline, when you trust in your own timeline, when you trust in your own journey, when you trust in your soul, then that's when you're going to be open to possibilities, open to creative solutions, open to so many wonderful things happening and manifesting for you. And that, I think, is such a huge key to life, full stop. That's why I think this is one of those conversations that I think is just pertinent for all of us, because we're all on this journey, we're all becoming, we're all in this process. And those of us who will enjoy and be present for our lives and enjoy the being while we're becoming, like they're the ones that are going to be thriving, right? And it's going to feel so good, but also it's just going to help you create so much more for yourselves in this lifetime, to really trust in the timing, trust in your soul's wisdom and guidance, trusting in your own journey, and trusting in the beautiful manifestation process, trusting in your spirit guides, your team, your counsel, etc. So anyway, I'm rambling now, but just to recap that beautiful quote, enjoy being in the process of becoming. Enjoy being in the process of becoming. Because while I love that you're ambitious and you're a go-getter and you want that goal and that dream for yourself and that beautiful, big, creative vision, don't forget to enjoy the present moment. Don't forget to enjoy and appreciate all that is and all that you are currently. Coming from it from a place of wholeness, of worthiness, of enoughness is imperative. It's going to feel so wonderful in the moment, but it's also going to help you manifest those things that you want into your life, to let go of it having to be in a certain way, in a certain timeline, in a certain outcome, a certain result, etc. You know, when you detach from that outcome, you allow the magic to happen. You allow the universe and divine orchestration to play out. And you also enjoy the being in the moment. You enjoy the being while you're becoming, in that process of becoming. So I hope that really helps. Make sure you check in with your nervous system to check, am I coming from a state of wholeness, of worthiness, of love, of trust, where I'm open to those creative solutions and possibilities, and I've detached from the outcome? This or better, like when we manifest, when we declare it, it's like this or something better. Like I'm open to it looking a different way than perhaps I first imagined, and trusting that it's happening for your highest good and the highest good for everyone around you, and checking in whether your nervous system's not quite there, and it's probably coming from a place of lack or not enoughness or unworthiness, where you're desperately holding on to it or tightly holding on to a certain outcome or a certain goal or a certain destination, and not allowing what's meant for you to happen and trusting in your own timeline and process. All right, my loves, I hope that's really helpful. Remember, final 2 spots to work with me this year in my private one-to-one coaching. If you're keen, send me a DM on Instagram, reach out, send me an email. Would love to chat with you about it. It'd be so incredible to end off this year with a bang, to really step into your potential, your soul's voice, and really bring back your sparkle. And yeah, thanks for being here. Tune in for next week's podcast episode. I love creating these for you, and it means so much that you're here listening. And of course, if you want to save this, you want to share it with your friends and family, I would love that so much and appreciate you for doing so, because this is how we get the conversation out to more and more humans. All right, lovelies, we'll talk to you soon.